Morning! It's just after 10 AM on Saturday the 8th of June, and here I am on the outskirts of Chelmsford heading for Maldon. I parked up yesterday and withstood a day of rain and had a very busy day on my computer. Put a number 421 on the films onto YouTube, and was planning on going for a night out last night, but it rained, and by the time it kind of settled down I decided to stay in. And I said I was going to give myself a rest from Facebook, but I put a message on and got a fantastic response from lots and lots of people. And for those of you who watch just purely on YouTube, basically the message was to say that I've calculated that I've got 24 walking days left to reach Grimsby, and I've worked out a bit of a route which is going to be my usual average of sort of 10 to 12 miles a day, even though that's average. Some days are going to be 20s and some days are going to be 8s. It's going to be like that, but generally speaking I think the average is quite good, and that means I should make it to Grimsby. Certainly at the earliest it's going to be the end of June, beginning of July, but I would say now I'd confidently predict it's going to be somewhere around about the 8th, 10th of July, somewhere around there. And I'll be sending a message to everyone via YouTube and Facebook with a plan to invite people. This is mainly sort of Grimsby people and Hull people local to the Grimsby area. If they want to walk the last day with me right into Grimsby, and I know it could be a logistical nightmare for so many people, but I've got lots of time to think about it. But it would be very nice to walk in accompanied and see lots of you people who want to come and join me. And I'm going to ask later on, probably in another week or two, of those who are interested, and probably lay on some transport or something like that, or a bus, to pick you all up at one point and drop you all off at another. And I've yet to make decisions on that, but I decided to walk today, even after reading the BBC weather forecast, which I do think is pretty accurate most of the time. It was predicting 40-mile-an-hour winds this morning, but bearing in mind it's coming directly from the west, that's right behind me all the way to Maldon, I thought, well, that isn't going to be too bad. It did say the odd scattered shower as well, but I've got myself well wrapped up this morning. I've got my warm kind of fleece, and I've got my waterproof. I've got a couple of hats in case I get wet. I've got a pair of waterproof trousers that I can slip on if it gets too bad, but nothing's going to stop me walking apart from hurricanes or massive thunderstorms or that kind of thing. I'm feeling very buoyed up, I'm feeling very happy about this, full of energy, and I'm going to enjoy this, even though I moan about this being mundane, walking on roads, and I complain about Essex not having much of a coastal path. It's still great, I'm still enjoying it, and it's a bit frustrating, but I'm getting on with it. Well, it's a Saturday morning, so there's not quite as much traffic as you would get midweek. There's not many buses and stuff around. Still quite busy, and I'm having to stick pretty much to the A414, which is more or less a direct straight line west from Chelmsford straight into Maldon. And I'll get some shots of Maldon later on, and I'm really determined to go out and have a drink tonight and actually talk to some human beings, because I can't remember the last one I spoke to. And I've got the camper van in a really good spot. It's only about maybe 200 metres away from Tesco and from McDonald's, where I do call occasionally, like at 7 o'clock in the morning. I had a bit of an argument with them actually this morning. Normally I buy a breakfast wrap, not that I go there very often, because Tesco's didn't open till 8 o'clock. the cafeteria doesn't open till 8 o'clock, even though the store opens at 7 o'clock. Normally it's about £3.50 thereabouts with a cup of tea, and this morning this guy was really adamant that it wasn't. So I called the manager and said, look, I come to your places quite often. I've been right around Britain and I've called in at loads of McDonald's and I've never had this problem before. Sort it out. So I got 2 cups of tea, which is quite funny. I said, you should be sponsoring me, really. I'd be alright if McDonald's sponsored me. The only thing is I wouldn't want to eat that sort of stuff every day. But anyway, it's going alright. I had a good long talk with Ralph last night, who was hell-bent on coming to see me around about the 17th, but he's flexible. I was telling him that there's going to be a few logistical problems, and he said, don't worry about that, we'll sort it out. And his mate Nibs is coming along, who's a lovely lad. You've met him before when I was in Maesteg, I interviewed him. He can't do much walking because I think he's got 1 or 2 back problems, but he's going to be our chauffeur. He's going to run us around and we're going to have some fun. And then I got a message from Ray, my friend Ray White, who you know, who walked with me on Anglesey and also on the Lynn Peninsula. Ray is going to come over and he's keen to help out as well with the logistics and do some walking, bearing in mind that Norfolk is going to be pretty flat, but people do tell me that it's a wonderful place to walk. There's some extremely long beaches and night skies are incredible apparently, and so I'm looking forward to that with Ray. He's just left somewhere, I can't remember where he's been, but he's been on holiday for a week doing some walking, getting himself fit and active, and he's had a wonderful time. I also got a message this morning at about 6 o'clock from Tony and Maureen, who have arrived back in Australia, and they've been off into Shropshire doing some walking and looking at the railways and stuff, and I think that they were talking about going out to Pembrokeshire, and I'm sure I'll hear from them when they get themselves back together again. They've just arrived home. It was about 3:30 in the afternoon and they were just off to bed because they were tired, but they said they can't wait to have a catch up of all the films and stuff that they've missed while they've been over here on holiday. So I'm doing okay. I just I passed a sign not that long ago saying Maldon 9 miles, so that's about right because I estimate this walk is about 11 to 12 miles, and that should take me probably another 2 or 3 hours. It's easy walking. So the wind is behind me, and if there's going to be any rain, that'll be from behind me as well, so it's going to be another one of those fairly mundane walks, but I'll try and make the very best of it for you. So I know I have to go through this every morning. If my friend Ralph was here with me now, he would say with great conviction, "Here we go." 11:15 now, and I'm doing pretty well. The weather's been great actually. I haven't had any problem at all. I've just found a shaded little area out of the wind to do this little talk. The traffic here is incredible. Wherever you go to the little country lanes like I'm in now, and there's still cars all doing rat runs and things. They're all driving like bloody maniacs. But that's life. I've had to come off the main road because I noticed this morning on the bus that there's a very, very narrow stretch with through a heavily wooded area, and there's only just enough room to get 2 buses through for about a mile, so I'm definitely not walking on that. So I've come down this place called Hull's Lane, where there's supposedly a garden centre and a cafe, but there's a crossroad which I'm at now, and it's at the other side of the crossroad. It's about a mile down the road. I'm not sure that it's worth walking all that way, because I'm coming into a village now and I'm quite sure there's going to be a pub and I'll be able to get a cup of tea with a bit of luck. But no, I'm enjoying it. The little signal went off on my wrist to tell my Fitbit to tell me that I've just done 5 miles, so I'm more or less halfway now. It's just after 2:30 now, and as I was walking into Maldon, there's a Morrison's supermarket on my right hand side at the first roundabout into the town on the western outskirts of the city, and so I thought I'd pop in and have a cup of tea. I'm gagging. It's been quite a good walk actually, I've enjoyed it. Didn't mess around, I just got on with it. I was expecting bad weather, like rain. I think it rained for about 10 minutes. And I was expecting these strong winds to be a bit of a problem. Apparently, according to the BBC weather forecast, they were going to be reaching up to 41 miles an hour. Well, I'm not sure about that because it was at my back, and I'm glad I wasn't walking into it, but nevertheless I don't think it was anywhere near 41 miles an hour. And looking outside now, the sun's shining quite brightly. I've kind of overdressed for it today. I feel a bit hot and bothered, and all I need to do now is I've probably got a mile now to walk into the town centre, and I'm going to have a look around, do a bit of videoing and show you a little bit of Maldon. Not that much, but be worth looking at. It seems to me as if it hasn't really got that much of a town centre to it. It's more like a high street and that's about it, but I might be wrong. I know the Tesco supermarket is very close to where I've parked the van, and also McDonald's, and there's a filling station and all that kind of stuff, which is very, very useful. I found a really good spot there. So, it's been a good day. I'm going to leave you to it. I'm going to go back to the van, do some editing and put it on. There's one person I'd like to mention. I'm not going to be doing this too often. I'm not going to make a feature of mentioning people, but one of my good friends called Robin England, and he's not from England actually, he's from the States. I think it's North Carolina by memory. He's been following me more or less right from day one, or somewhere around there. I know he's certainly seen every one of the vlogs, and he wrote to me yesterday saying that he'd just managed his first 18 miles walk, and he's been kind of inspired by me driving him on, watching my videos every day, and I'm absolutely delighted that he should say such a wonderful thing to me. Thank you very much indeed. And he's certainly enjoying it. He said he went for an 18-mile walk and he enjoyed it, and he walked around this huge cornfield. Well, I mean, that's what they have in the States, these big cornfields, and so why am I complaining, if you understand what I mean? I'm only joking. I mean, it's you know, it's massive fields out there, great big fields. It's unbelievable. But he's a lovely guy, and he writes to me just about with every vlog. He sends me some kind of message, and lovely fella. And Robin, I'm absolutely delighted to see you doing so well with that, and you keep it up, mate. You're looking good, and thanks for the photograph. I'm not quite sure whether I can enlarge it very much, but here you are, look, on your walk, and well done, mate. I'm proud of you. Well done. So I'm going to walk into the centre, so do some editing, and that's it. And tomorrow my plan is, again, subject to the weather. If it's anything like this, I'll be happy. It's going to be considerably longer tomorrow. It's probably going to be more like about, today I think it was about 10 or 12 or something like that. Well, tomorrow is going to be more like 15, 18 myself, because I'm walking all the way through to Colchester, which is quite a walk, but that will be a big milestone for me to get to Colchester, and I'm looking forward to that. And I'll probably make a very early start in the morning, something like about 6 o'clock, try and get the job done as early as possible, because I do have to walk to Colchester and then get the bus back to Maldon to pick the van up. So I'll see you later.